Let's bring in Senate Majority Leader John Thune. He was among the lawmakers who were briefed on Iran by Secretary of State Marco Rubio yesterday in a classified briefing. Leader Thune, thank you so much for coming on. Great to see you.
Great to be with you. Thanks, Aisha.
You know, this morning I was chatting with a pretty well-placed Midi source who felt the president's remarks last night on Iran were a bit worrying. And this is hours after that classified briefing where Democrats like Mark Warner came out and said this. Listen here.
I think it is incumbent upon the president to make the case of what our country's goals are, what our country's interests are, and how we're going to protect American interests in the region.
So that sounded really ominous, Leader Thune. And folks are wondering after this briefing, are we going to war?
I don't know the answer to that, Aisha. I think that the president is preparing us to defend America's vital national security interests, both in that region and here at home. I mean, we cannot abide, we cannot tolerate a nuclear Iran. He made that clear in his speech last night. I think that's something, I hope at least, that a big majority of Americans agree with. But we have vital interests in that region, and obviously the capabilities that the Iranians have to hit a lot of our allies in the region is something that we have to be well attuned to as well. And I think the president is pursuing peace through strength by ensuring that America has the right assets in the right places at the right time, if necessary. Hopefully it won't be necessary. If the Iranians come to the table, I think there's potentially a deal that could be made there.
Do you get the sense after this briefing, I know this is all classified, but do you get the sense that these next talks tomorrow might be a last-ditch effort, that this might be it, and then the president is pretty close to a decision?
If I'm the Iranians, I view it that way, Aisha. I just think that they have an opportunity here, and they ought to take advantage of it. There is change that needs to happen in Iran. This is something that goes back 5 decades, and obviously they've got people who are ready for freedom and democracy in their country. And we need to ensure that they never have a nuclear capability that can be used to reach not only our allies in the region, but the United States as well.
Okay, the president last night also called on Congress to pass the SAVE Act in this battle over voter ID. Let's play that sound very quickly for our viewers.
I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act. It's very simple. All voters must show voter ID. Both Republicans and Democrats overwhelmingly agree on the policy that we just enunciated. And Congress should unite and enact this common sense, country-saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens.
You know, I know that this requires 60 votes, and you likely won't get there without having to blow up the filibuster, which you likely won't do either, won't have the votes for that either. When you look at the polling, though, out there, the Fox polling on voter ID, I mean, it is really remarkable. 84% of all voters out there believe in voter ID, required to show a valid form of state or federally issued photo identification to prove their citizenship. But take a look at where independents and even Democrats are. Democrats are at 70%, independents at 84%. This seems like a no-brainer. Are you going to put this bill on the floor even though you won't have the votes to pass it, just to get Democrats on the record? And if so, when?
Well, we will. We'll put the Democrats on the record. And it's a stark contrast, Aisha. The Democrats, even in the chamber last night, having to sit there and try and defend allowing non-citizens to vote in American elections. That is a losing proposition for them. So we will get a vote on it. And we are right now in the middle of a government shutdown, so we've got to try and get the government opened up first. But in due time, we will get that up on the floor. We will have a vote on it. We will make sure that the Democrats are on the record. It is a stark contrast between Republicans and Democrats about how they want to handle elections in this country. And this is going to put them, I think, in a very difficult position. It's an issue, if I were running as a Democrat in the midterm elections in November, I wouldn't want to have to defend.
The president also asked you and Speaker Mike Johnson to codify a couple of things, like his most favored nation status for prescription medication out there. He also talked about giving workers, middle-class workers, the same kind of retirement account that federal workers get. And the Treasury Secretary threw out an idea of maybe putting this into a reconciliation package. Are you guys working on another reconciliation package this year ahead of the midterms?
We are soliciting ideas from the relevant committees here in the Senate to see if there is an issue set that we could put up for a reconciliation bill that would get 50 votes. And obviously, allowing people to save for retirement and allow everybody across this country has access to the same sorts of retirement accounts that federal employees do, I think is a great idea. Obviously, there's a lot of work that has to happen in the House and the Senate in order to make something like that become a reality. But it builds on the great foundation that we have built in this last year, Aisha. The things that the president has done, the Trump newborn accounts, for example, child care tax credits for employers who build, are willing to build daycare facilities. There was so many things in there targeted at working class families. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, reducing taxes on seniors on Social Security. There have been some consequential and major pieces of legislation passed, policies that are going to be felt by the American people for years to come. And I think they're going to start feeling that this next year, more specifically when they file their tax returns and the refunds are significantly bigger than they were last year. This president is committed to safer streets, to more money in the American people's pockets, and to new opportunities for Americans to get ahead. And I think those are the things that we need to be focused on as we head into this year and into the midterm elections.
And speaking of the midterm elections, sir, the president heading to Texas on Friday. Of course, he still hasn't endorsed John Cornyn for that pretty heated primary seat. Are you going to ask him again?
Well, we've had multiple conversations about that, and I'm hopeful at some point that he will weigh in. We believe that John Cornyn is the best person to win that general election, to make sure that Texas stays red in the United States Senate, and to save a lot of money that we could invest in other places where we have really good opportunities to win some seats, places like Michigan and New Hampshire. And we're defending seats this year as well, Aisha. So we need to take Texas off the map. The best way to do that is for John Cornyn to be the nominee, and we need to have the president hopefully in his corner before this is all said and done.
Not a lot of time left for that endorsement to come in. Leader Thune, great to have you.
We do.
Great to see you.
Thanks, Aisha.